I am so excited to have the opportunity to chat with you today, Emily. So, we're just going to dive right in. Let's dive into some questions. Tell us a little bit more about you, where you live, your age, if you want to disclose.
Yeah. So first off, my hair's come a long way. So praise the Lord. But my name is Emily Efnor. I'm 27 years old. I live in central Illinois in a very small town of 1,200. And I've been with Monat since 2017 and have been doing this full time since 2018.
Awesome. And how did you get started with money? I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story and your journey here with us.
Yeah, so I was first introduced to money in October of 2016 by my best friend, Ashley Dreesy. Her and I worked at a boutique for years together, and we became really close. And since we had that best friend dynamic, we had that joking sarcasm relationship, like we still do today. And she had just brought it up and she's like, you need to do this. I'm like, I am not going to be that person. I'm not going to be that person. But she had previously been a VIP and then she signed on as a market partner. And she heard me complain literally every single day. Well, one, my hair was crap, but two, just my situation and, how I was so stressed out and I was living paycheck to paycheck and my relationship with money wasn't so great. And she gave me a solution. And of course, I didn't want the solution. I just wanted someone who was going to listen to me complain and play the victim rather than do anything about it. I was in debt and that was just stressful all in itself. But after her asking me like 5 or 6 times, being like, you need to do this, I was like, you know what? Let me just try the product. I thought that would like get her off of my back for a while.
Yeah.
And
Let
then
me
like
be a good friend. Let me be a good friend and try it, right?
buy me some time before she asked me again. And Lord knows my hair needed it. If anyone follows me on social media, you have seen the dreaded extension hair. And then, so that was November of 2016. And then in January of 2017, she mentioned it a couple more times. And I finally gave in. I was like, okay, like, oh my gosh, like, do I have to have an auto ship? What are the requirements? And there was nothing. So I was like, you know what? Sure. Why not? Like, let's do this. Um, so fast forward a little bit, I just started posting on it because I was already posting on social media, like things that I love. So it was kind of
Yeah.
like a seamless transition. And then once I got my first paycheck, I went out and got shoes first, and I still have those shoes to this day. But I
We need the
remember
shoes. We
we
need the
need
shoes.
we need those Adidas sneakers. Okay, I have to have them. They are everything, which they weren't. They didn't bring me happiness at all, but it's still funny. Um, but I remember that paycheck being around $300, and I just remember the feeling of a tiny ounce of stress was taken off of me, like in that moment. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, how can I continue this, but not only continue, but make it bigger? And I will say, because I think a lot of people, it's not an excuse, like it's an actual feeling, but I think sometimes people use it as a crutch. I had no idea what I was doing. Okay. I didn't know all the things before I went in. A lot of us didn't. I just started posting because, like I had just said, like, what did I have to lose? Like, my hair was crap. Like, it was fine. Um, and for the things that I didn't know, I took the initiative to find the answers. And if I couldn't find the answers, I went and found someone who knew the answers.
Going into how you got started, where are you now? Tell us a little bit more about that. And where are you now in the business?
Oh gosh, well, how much time do we have here? Okay. Like I said, we just ran with it and I never stopped because the money continued to come in. And that paid off because a year after signing on with Monat, which almost a year to date, really, I put my 2 weeks in at that job that I had outgrown and needed to leave. And I went full time with Monat. And back in
Amazing.
February, I just like want to get emotional talking about it, but back in February, I had just celebrated my 4 year anniversary of being full time, and I'm still doing it to this day. I love what I do. Um, I don't even know. There's like so many things that could go into it, but I remember leaving that job, and I just was so scared of the unknown. And I was like, is this going to be worth it? Like, is this going to continue to stay this way? And I just remembered, like, this is up to you. Like, this isn't up to your upline. This isn't up to anybody underneath of you. This is up to you alone. You have to stay consistent and you have to just run with this, even on days that you don't, because what I'm doing now trumps everything that I went through to get here. And I would rather do this 100 times over each and every day than to be in a 9 to 5, which I'm not saying a 9 to 5 is bad, but it's not for me. And
Mhm.
I think that's awesome that we get, choices to do whatever we want. And I wouldn't trade this for the world.
Tell us what your typical day looks like and when you fit in money.
I get up, I do my morning routine, which that's like a whole nother podcast that would take us hours to get through. But mainly I shower, thank the Lord. I grab my green smoothie and then I sit down and work. Every day looks different, and which is one thing I love because I like to switch things up. I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. But I always start with taking care of my VIPs and my team. What do they need?
Love
Have
that.
have they messaged me? I need to post something this morning in both pages, in chats, etc. And then I kind of prioritize what needs to happen after that. If we're in the beginning of the month or the middle of the month or the end of the month, each section of the month has its own basics that need to be done and tangible things. So just kind of going on that. But as far as fitting it in best for me, um, what I love about this business and being full time with it is I kind of create that schedule. So I was homeschooled, which is a fun fact about me. But there were some mornings like I can't concentrate. And I was the same way when I was homeschooled. I couldn't concentrate. So sometimes I work better at night. So we might be doing things at night, when my boyfriend is in the tractor until 10, 11 at night, right?
Mhm.
So I just kind of fit it in wherever, which is kind of how I started doing it from the boutique as well. I would work on my lunch break, and none of that has changed.
I love that you said, just wherever I could fit it in your own schedule and what works best for you. Because I think people think that it needs to be really organized and scheduled all the time. But I love that there's a little bit of messiness to figuring out when it works best for you. So
And
that's
I will say, like, I know a lot of people are like, I don't have time. We all have time. Okay. And I know
yes.
we all have the same 24 hours in the day. People are probably rolling their eyes. But if you can audit your time, and because if you need something to change in your life, you need to see where your time is going because time is money.
So
And
good.
like I know for me, there are some days where I was like binge watching Netflix, which is okay to do on some occasions. I'm not knocking it, but how much time are you spending on Netflix a day? How much time are we spending on other
Exactly.
apps? Like, what are we consuming? Where can we like, and it doesn't even have to be like an 8 hour day. I'm talking like 15, 20 minutes. Like everybody can find 15 or 20 minutes in their schedule. I can promise you that.
What is it that you love most about your role here at Monat and what you do?
Okay, this is a great question, which has many, many answers. But the one thing that I could come up with was being relatable. And I think being in the social media realm, there are a lot of people, which I have been here, me included. So I'm not like pointing fingers, but there are a lot of people who are trying to prove themselves. And I kind of pivoted
Yeah.
my platform to advocate for the non-blueprint life. Like I mentioned, I was homeschooled. Not a lot of people
Yeah.
are homeschooled. Okay. I didn't go to college. School just wasn't for me. Okay. I'm more of a hands-on learner. Just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm a terrible speller. I'm like a tad dyslexic sometimes. So I'm just over here enjoying what I do. But I
Yeah.
want like I just want to be that person where it's like it's okay to be a hot mess. You don't have to have the perfect preset. But I just want people to have a space to come to where whether they're going to sign up with Monat or not, I want to make a community where they feel safe to be themselves and like know that it's okay to be a hot mess and to take that non-typical blueprint life even if people aren't supporting you and your family. It's okay to be a hot mess. You don't need everyone's approval. Um but yeah, just making a safe space and knowing or letting people know that they're not stuck. There's alternative routes, right? And
For
I want to be
sure.
the one to open that door for them, whether they feel qualified or not.
Speaking about like being misunderstood, let's just dive into your biggest failure. What did you learn from that? I know that's a loaded question. What is your biggest failure?
Lonnie, oh my gosh. Again, how much time do we have? Um, no, well, okay. So I was thinking about this and I was like, I wouldn't categorize it. I thought it was my biggest failure at the time, right? Um, I think looking back on it, it's what I needed. It was a humbling experience. So back in 2018, I relied on my rank as my identity. And I found a lot of security in that quote unquote title. And I ended up losing that rank, not once, but twice. Okay. And was devastated. I felt like, again, I had lost my identity when in reality, it was the biggest blessing ever. Um, and I kind of went down like for about 2 weeks, I was in a dark hole about this. And after I
Mhm.
had come to terms and talked to my upline about it, um, that's when things really clicked for me. And I started showing up as a better leader where I focused more on like your identity is not in your rank at all. Like it's not.
Yes.
You don't need that to be successful. You don't need that to be a better leader. But like I said, I was showing up as a better leader, right? After I had let go of that. But I could also help anyone who struggled with that themselves and use my testimony to show them, like, hey, we're not going to do that. That's toxic to look at your rank like that. But
Yeah.
here's how we can pivot and adjust. And this is where we're going to come, like, this is where we're going to go now.
Just as anything in life, we get stuck and glued to the titles versus the work that we're doing. So I think that's so true. And you nailed it on the head. Like, let's focus on where we're going. It doesn't necessarily matter what your title is. So love that insight for that and seeing failures moving forward too. So, and speaking of failures, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone starting out as a market partner?
I would say don't wait for permission from your family, from your friends, from the upline you signed under. Yes, having an upline is great, but you don't need their permission to start running. And most importantly, not from the people who you wouldn't take life advice from. Just get up, take action, and take initiative. My second was sorry, I have three, so they're going to be short, sweet, to the
All right,
point. Don't.
you can say all three.
But you're never going to know everything. So you need to stop waiting for that perfect timeline because every day I open my computer and you even just said it. You learn something new every day. I
Yep.
learn something new every single time I sit down and work. And again, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm not a professional. Sometimes I still have a hard time reading the compensation plan, but you learn something new every day.
Can we talk about like how you divide your time with money, with all the other things that you love to do in your life?
Well, this is kind of a hot take and maybe an unpopular opinion, but I don't believe in balance. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. I don't have a family yet. We're not married yet. It's just me, myself, and I take care of my fiance. Um, but I always believe that something that day will consume your time more than something else if you're trying to balance
Mhm.
it, and vice versa the next. So that's why I love to-do lists, because you can kind of prioritize what's important, what's a filler for that day. Like I said, when I was working at the boutique, Ashley and I, we worked on our lunch breaks. We worked in the car. We fitted in, when we were driving home and we were having customer service times that were crazy, we would do it as we drove home because that would, multitasking, right? So
Yeah.
I think if you find a routine that works best for you, again, don't beat yourself up if something consumed you more that day and you needed something else done. Just get up, do whatever needs to be done, and just find your rhythm.
What is your money goal?
Probably just growing, pivoting, and adjusting. It's always my main priorities, and just continuing to put myself in situations that exercise my weaknesses because growing doesn't come in comfort zones.
Now we're going to move into rapid fire. All right.
God.
This is my favorite part. Okay. You can bring three products to an island. What three Monat products?
Okay, definitely the oil, restore leave-in conditioner, and oh my gosh, the essence. I love that.
Oh, the essence. So good. Well, everyone knows that the oil is the holy grail. So you got to have the oil on an island. Early riser or night owl? I'm curious to hear.
Early riser.
Early riser. Okay. And bucket list vacation.
Oh gosh. This is terrible. I don't even know. I don't know. Probably like I want to go to a hut somewhere. I want to go to a hut and sleep in a hut like, over open waters.
Well, this was so fun, Emily, and what a treat to be able to get to know you and hear more about why you do Monat and just a couple things that stood out. Like you could be a hot mess. You don't have to know what you're doing, but you really get to wake up and love what you do and fit everything in the nooks and the crannies. So don't seek the approval of others before you start. You don't have to ask for permission. That was so good. Like, don't ask for permission or approval because their opinions really don't matter. And anything else you wanted to add to that before we close out the day? And
oh my goodness. Kind of going back to, I guess, the answers and like not knowing everything. I wish people could see the back office and how many resources that are back there, just back there alone, and in
yeah,
Teams and in the Facebook pages and YouTube. There's so many things. I haven't even made it through the whole resource library yet. There's no way. There's no possible way. But just know that when you do come in, you're going to have all of the resources that you could ever need and then some to succeed.
that's a great way to end and a great plug for what we do here on the corporate side of Monat too. Like we're here to serve you as market partners. So Emily, it's been so fun and I can't wait to continue to get to know you. Thanks for spending some time with us and helping us launch this podcast for Monat. I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me and asking me to be a part of it.
We love our community. It's the best part of what we get to do here. So thank you again.